Hello and welcome to ATX Crypto. Welcome to my channel where I talk about crypto, finance, and especially the Richard Heart ecosystem, PULSECHAIN, PULSEX, and HEX. If you don't know Richard Heart, he is a genius behind all the projects I just mentioned. He is a self-made billionaire, serial entrepreneur, and a philanthropist. He's a best-selling author, and he's a handsome devil. He's basically Elon Musk of crypto, but better. And if you don't know what PULSECHAIN, PULSEX, and HEX are, well, you are missing out on one of the biggest crypto opportunities possibly that you're going to have in your lifetime. So definitely be sure to stay and watch until the end of the video because I'm going to explain everything to you in a simple and fun way. So right away, let's talk about crypto influencers beginning to notice, guys. This is something that's really happening pretty frequently right now. And the more that we continue, the more it also continues as well. So I want to talk about this first because, guys, we got bigger influencers starting to notice. And welcome back to the channel for anyone who's coming back right now, where I talk about the most exciting and profitable projects in the crypto space. Today we got some exciting and amazing news for you, and we're going to be discussing just how, like I've been telling you, HEX, PULSECHAIN, and PULSEX are the three projects that are revolutionizing the crypto industry. Well, now there's other crypto influencers who are also beginning to notice, and I think they are truly understanding how this is going to be one of the best investments that you can make right now as of today. So some of the best and most influential crypto YouTubers are already starting to talk about them, and we have a few of them that I have pulled up as well. So you know what that means, guys. It means these projects are about to explode in popularity and in price. So you don't want to miss an opportunity like this. Get ready, get in early, and make some life-changing gains because that's basically what we're looking for. So before I really get into all the information, I do ask that, you know what, if you're appreciating the content that we're putting out, if you're appreciating the work that's being put into this, definitely smash the like button or boot the like button or turn it blue or whatever it makes more sense for you. But if if it means a lot to you, or just like it means to me, if you're appreciating the information that's getting put out, subscribe is always nice because it just means that you want to come back and continue getting content like this that's being put out. Now, if you do have any comments or suggestions or any other items that you may ask for me or of me, just leave a comment down below, right? Remember this, first off, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes only. I'm just a guy who loves crypto and the Richard Heart ecosystem of HEX, PULSECHAIN, and PULSEX. I want to share my knowledge and passion with every single one of you beautiful people. So don't take anything I say as gospel. Just do your own research, stay invested responsibly. Let's get started with who these crypto YouTubers are, right? That are talking about HEX, that are talking about PULSECHAIN, that's even mentioning PULSEX, because let me show you, right? Because this is big, right? The first one that we have is BitBoy Crypto, and he is probably one of the most popular crypto channels on YouTube. He's got over he's got right at 1.5 million subscribers. He's got over 200 million views, and his thoughts about HEX being the best performing asset of all time and how it's outperformed Bitcoin and Ethereum is just leading people toward the best crypto product, in my opinion, of HEX, PULSECHAIN, and PULSEX. He also goes into more detail about how PULSECHAIN is going to be the next big thing in crypto, and he talks about how it's going to solve the problems of Ethereum. He talks about the high fees. He talks about the slow transactions. Even he was mentioning before the environmental impact. Now, since then, Ethereum has switched over to a proof of stake concept, which is perfectly fine, and that's all good in the ETH 2.0 system. But he was still bringing it up to folks. He tries to stay kind of in the middle and not take one stance or another. But I think we all know which way he's leaning, you know what I mean? I think we're very familiar that he sacrificed for PULSECHAIN. He knew what was going on. He knew what was happening. And so he actually mentions even how PULSEX could be possibly the best DEX like out there, right? Of course on PULSECHAIN, but even out there, and how it's going to even offer lower fees than other decentralized exchanges, how it's going to grant high rewards, how it has a buy and burn mechanism that will help increase the value of the token. He talks about how investing in these projects could make him a lot of money, and we all know that he's done some crazy things in the past, but this is something that I'm going to give him kudos for. Bentley, no sir. I'm gonna give him kudos. I need you to lay down, pup. Lay down. Over here, paw on my door. That's not okay. So you know, like, hey, if he's talking about making a lot of money, I'm talking about making a lot of money. Like, let's go make a lot of money together. You know what I mean? Like, let's do it. Let's bring it on. The next one I want to bring up is DataDash, guys. This is another big crypto channel on YouTube. He's got over 500,000 subscribers. He's got over 100 million views. And DataDash talks about how HEX is actually one of the first high interest blockchain CD and how it pays you interest for locking up your tokens for a period of time. He talks about PULSEChain being a fork of Ethereum. He mentions how it's going to give you the ability to stake to validators, and even the ability, he talked about it at the time of sacrifice when PULSEChain was going on, how you can sacrifice some of your portion to charity if that's something you wanted to do and receive Pulse tokens in return. So DataDash definitely shares his thoughts about PULSEChain, about HEX. He also goes into a little bit of detail about how PULSEX is a decentralized exchange, or a DEX. He goes into more detail that allows you to swap tokens on PULSEChain, as well as trade them with other tokens on PULSEChain. So he thinks it's going to be, he says that it's going to be a project that he's going to try, and that he thinks that they have a lot of potential. So big fan. He's actually done several interviews with Richard Hart already. So while he may not be promoting everything all the time to everyone, I think he's secretly in the Hexican ecosystem. And when we see PULSEChain launch, guys, we have some big crypto influencers who are out there. And last but definitely not least, and this is one of the ones who's really coming around lately, is Ivan on Tech. So the reason why I bring up Ivan on Tech is because he's got over 400,000 subscribers. He's got over 70 million views out of all of his videos, and he discusses how HEX is probably one of the most innovative and disruptive projects in crypto. He talks about how it can create a new category of crypto called store of value, and he goes into how PULSEChain is probably one of the most anticipated and hyped projects in crypto. Lately, he's definitely coming on board and being much more vocal than he's ever been about these projects. And I am such a fan when I see someone who is outside of the community, who's a bigger crypto influencer, who's really starting to share and open up his own social following. Because guys, like, for some folks, they really find it hard to promote Richard Hart because of the backlash that people have with Richard Hart. Some people just hate him. I don't know why. Again, I've talked about this. It's polarizing. He has a true 50-50 split. But now Ivan on Tech is coming on board on our 50 side, and I'm a big fan because, guys, this is a huge, huge thing. Especially as of lately, he's been putting out tweets talking about how, you know, HEX wins, Cardano wins, big communities, who, you know, give me a shout out or whatever, and then HEX just dominates that. And that was over 100,000 views whenever I last looked at the tweet, and that was at the time he launched it. So he's definitely got some people listening, he's definitely got some people watching, and I'm curious to see how far we really take this, because not only does he talk about HEX, he now talks about PULSEX and how it's going to be one of the most advanced and user-friendly DEXs on PULSEChain, how it has a lower swap fee and a buy and burn mechanism to reduce the supply, and how it just appreciates the price of PULSEX by that mechanism and tokenomics as well. He also says that he's going to be covering these projects in more depth, and that he does believe that they are the next big thing in crypto. So folks, this is huge because, as you can see, these are probably some of the most viewed and sought after influential or crypto influencers on YouTube in the world. And they're talking about HEX, they're talking about PULSEChain, they're talking about PULSEX, and they aren't the only ones, folks. There are so many other crypto YouTubers that are starting to talk about these projects, coming out of the woodworks, not being afraid to mention. We've passed every single thing you can pass, because in the beginning it was all of this scam narrative. And guys, HEX has been running flawlessly for well over 3 years. So that scam narrative just ends up going further and further and further and further away. The longer something exists, the more likely it's going to be here for the long haul, right? And that's kind of what all these crypto influencers are finally starting to realize. So big fan of that as well.